I'm Elisa Mortensen, and this is Undo Redo.
Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the hardest part. I walk my students through each of the 6 steps in this process of how to transform conflict and damage into healing and connection with our loved ones or with just people we kind of associate with, where we've had some bad blood between us. And it works with bosses, teams, kids. It really works with anyone who's human. But I want you to come along to understand how we dive into first what is currently going on in the situation, and next what we would rather see happening. I want you to be thinking about making your first breakthrough, your first connection within the 6 weeks of that time period that we are together in this class. I want you to put yourself in the position of being the one that is having this transformation and finally having the peace and freedom that you want without the tension and the drama in the relationship that you struggle in and the people that are difficult for you. It becomes very important that we make a concentrated effort to reach that goal and start seeing as this being something that's possible for you to do. And not only that, but seeing that it's working and that it's happening. And to take yourself working towards that goal extremely seriously. If you give yourself a year to do it, you'll take the whole year. That's just the way it works. So when you cut the time frame down and you expect that out of yourself sooner, you become that sooner instead of putting it off. So if you've been following along with me and you're wanting this kind of quality of life, and you've been listening to my podcasts and joining me in my events or retreats or courses, then you know that this kind of quality in relationships and the person that you become that maintains these quality relationships is who you become in every situation with every person. It ditches worry, lessens anxieties, limits the amount of dread you really experience. Home interactions, either at home or career, if it feels out of reach for you, then you're in the right place. These next few episodes might be what you need to hear to finally take that life and those relationships that you want to have into your hands, grow the belief in yourself, grab the motivation and determination, and mostly, the first thing, just deciding to do it. To go all in on something that really matters to you, that reduces your cortisol, that helps you show up in your own life, rather than wonder if you could have gone all in and could have accomplished this or not and live with regrets. So let's dive in, all right? The hardest part is the beginning, the decision. The hardest part is deciding to do this, being committed to do this. It isn't to get their quick fix or avoiding things to get away or hurry and skip it so you can get to the good part. You are going to be clearing the way and building a new foundation that makes it simple for you to maintain connection and diffuse conflict, keep your own energy, meaning not shut down, not collapse under the heaviness and the pressure of it anymore, not spin and worry, and not ruminate on the horrible person they are and the destruction that it's causing and the little nuances of pain that it causes in your life. The reason it's the hardest part, and the way I want you to think about this, is you're building something and creating something from nothing with your mind, inside your mind. You are creating momentum towards inviting others around you, especially those with whom you struggle, to a more authentic connection, a deeper, more accurate way for the first time ever. We're not taught this. We're taught to hate something that someone does and call someone else and vent about it. That's what we're taught to do, which actually reinforces our thoughts about them. It doesn't help anything. So if you're starting from scratch, not everyone makes it immediately to connection, because some of you are starting from scratch. We all start from a different place. Some of you are further along in your level of commitment or personal growth than others. It's especially a big deal if you don't have any awareness or any skills in this area yet. It just sounds like a good idea to you. And maybe you're just all in from the get-go, and that'll happen for you sooner. Just be aware that you're going to have to tell yourself in the hard part that you are in the hardest part. And when you accept that you're in the hard part ahead of time and that this will be hard, it eases your burden so you won't be fighting it when it gets hard, because it will get hard. When you are in the muck of it and you want to try and make it go faster or shift your actions into an energy that avoids it and skips it, it's going to make it hard for you because you'll be spinning out in the muck instead of actually gaining traction and moving through to the other side of it. So when you go from focusing on the behavior of the person to the value of the person and your own reactions and responses and thoughts towards them, it's not an overnight thing. It's a place of honoring their agency, like why they do what they do and not making it mean anything about you. It doesn't come naturally. It's a skill we must develop to get a better connection and more authenticity, and also love our own agency, that we get to have that kind of journey they do also. What we do first is decide, and then we become good at the hard parts. Then nothing that comes at you will unhinge you. We want you to dream about who you will become, about what life will be like with this person you're thinking of, or just people in general, and not having so much fight in us and so many complaints towards other people. Enjoying life with those around you when you're not shutting down and you're not avoiding them, spending enjoyable time with those you have to be around anyways at work, or those you would have previously had dread to be around in your family and don't look forward to. This kind of connection takes all of that away, and it feels like freedom. No longer held captive by your anxieties around those people or fears about having the conflict or the confrontations with those people. All of this goes away. I think about this all the time, and my husband and I notice and talk about this. There is not a very high percentage of people in the world who can remain in the tension and in the confrontation and in the conflict, who can still feel so connected and purposeful in their day with the person, with those they live with or work with. It's not like every day we'll be singing Kumbaya with these people, but we become someone that we think we need to be in order to survive sometimes. And it's not our highest version. It's a heavy, needier, more desperate, controlling person. And when we're in a constant state of worry and blame for how poorly we feel and how spinning on how poorly they've treated us, we can't do any better. It just remains that way. It becomes our excuse, really, to not have the constraint we need to stop yelling, attacking back, seeking revenge, holding grudges, talking bad about them. Basically, we aren't able to see how our actions perpetuate the very thing that we hate the most, which is the conflict and the confrontation and how poor the interactions are. All that disconnection. We hate it the most of all. It's really impossible to put an end to the problem from this kind of focus in reactive energy and overreacting and drama, especially if you haven't gained any of the skill sets before to be able to be in the tension and still remain purposeful, intentional, and meaningful, and keep that peace with you, even when it gets nasty. So you must know how to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally so you are not caught off guard. There will be times you fail and you will go backwards, and it will remind you to step back up into that version that you've been trying to be. But also, it doesn't mean that you're letting them walk all over you. There's going to be boundaries and things like that. But I want you to be in alignment with who you say you are. And I want you to have big dreams for how the interactions should feel. I know for me, the dream that I had was to feel that excitement when I saw them. When I saw my kids, like when they were little and it was magical, now they're teenagers and they're back talking. I want to be excited when they walk in the room. Or my spouse, after it's been 27 years of marriage, I want to really feel that moment of love and adoration, like all the time. I was feeling excitement like that long ago. So I know it can exist. Why can't I just bring it back? This is what got me creating the course and experimenting with my own relationships and finding out what really works. I hated the unspoken tension in the room when people were getting together. No one really trusted each other. Everyone thought someone was going to turn on them at any moment because someone's going to be offended or defensive. And we were all just kind of walking on eggshells in this underlying energy that was just icky. We were all kind of pretending, even, right, that it didn't exist because no one wants to talk about the elephant in the room. Making it through a meeting with members of your community or at work or a family gathering without disagreements, without having all this bad stuff to say about someone, arguing, fighting, it just seems like such a win if you ever just made it clear of unleashing, right? And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is it? This is it, huh? As long as you can hold your tongue and pretend, I guess we're all good. Really? Like, I have to pretend? But I knew it could be so much more than that. I knew it could feel so much more engaged and alive, and that enthusiasm and excitement could come back. I knew it could feel like less dread or less obligation. My most compelling reason for diving in and learning all of these skills on my own and then becoming certified and educated for my first time years and years ago, way before becoming a coach, was the idea of the increased closeness, truly having someone care and listen to me truly caring and listening to them, and feeling excited to be together again, excited to have a conversation, looking forward to it even. This was my most compelling reason, really. So being an example of being able to stay in the energy that I needed to be, that was for everyone and for me and not against anyone when it gets real bad, and becoming what I needed to be inviting to them, invite them to my calm, invite them to have open conversation, or excuse myself when I know I've gone too far and I feel that intense emotion too big that I can't have my logical brain, where my emotions start to take over, to just excuse myself. So I don't fall into the negative defensive positions where I become someone that I think I need to be to survive that situation when I could just excuse myself from it, right? I decided that I wanted to be the best at being in the hard part. I thought if I practice this enough times, I can get really, really good at being in the hard parts, because I found I shrink away and my output to those who need my connection most don't get my best version. I push people away. The idea of it being very challenging and me trying to kind of avoid the challenge by not leaning into it didn't feel like that was the way to get there. And the top reason that I have now, after having all of this experience of doing this as many times as I have in my life now, is I am coming away from it seeing myself as a leader in my home and a leader in my career, and how well I make connections. I can impact, I can lift others to a higher energy. I hold space for things to get really nasty and go really wrong. And when I do that, the better those around me get at being in the hard parts. It shows them what's possible. It invites them to try to do the same. Just like complaining invites others to complain, it's the exact opposite. I've now become an expert in it, and I know that we can be all in. I know that I went all in, and I know that this is true for you. I'm not any special case. The next thing after accepting that it's going to be hard and that you're going to be in the hard is to have something really worthy to attach it to. What would be incredible for you if this could happen? If you can really attach something so good that it wins over being in the hard part, that you're like, this is worth it. I'll put myself through this in order to have this exponentially worth it dream that I have. Is it freedom? Is it authenticity, enjoyment, calm, healing, better healing energy in your body? loving interactions, a safe place for all, places that people want to run to you and can't wait to see you, and that you want to run to them and can't wait to see them. It's a place for all of us to let our guards down and to be ourselves without any judgment. It's very playful. It's the kind of unity that lifts everyone and where people accept the invitation to bring out their best self. It's the greatest, most up-leveled, this is so my dream, is to feel like it's heaven on earth. To feel like everyone you meet and everywhere you go, because I am in alignment and I'm committed to this, feels amazing. That's us. This idea holds the possibility for us, all of us, whoever decides to do any amount of this work. Emotional freedom, enjoyment, cooperation, purpose, meaning. We have the ability to create that. And I want to hand that to you. I want to offer to you that this is possible for you. And I want you to really hear it for what it is. Because most people who never get here, they underestimate how the effort is put in and who you have to become. When you do this, you prove. When you begin to do this and you start to see that it's working and it kind of clicks, you prove that you can have your dream. And it invites others to do the same. You have figured out the hardest part. The effort that you put in, if you keep going, it will be a long-lasting ripple effect in the lives of others. And it's just the beginning. The foundation that is the hardest part that you have laid, and you have figured out that hardest part. It may seem insignificant. It may seem like nothing is happening because the building isn't built yet, right? But the one or two times that you feel connected as you're building that foundation and those first few connections start to happen, when you're not reactive, when you hold back on your judgment, when you want that connection with them so much that you align yourself when it's hard. And in the tension and in the arguments, you have gotten power over your old thinking and your old habit, and it feels more accurate. And you keep on it, that is the result of doing it. It's just a slow and steady. You are someone, if you've done it, even just a little bit, you are someone who validated your dream. That little bit, that connection, that one little time that you did it and it felt aligned, when you went from disconnection to connection in the tension, everything will get easier if you keep going, if you keep shooting for that moment. If you quit ahead of time or immediately after it happens, thinking that this is too much effort and you're telling yourself that it isn't enough and you can't stick to it and that it's too hard for you and you get set off too easy, and when it pops back up again, and you say it took too much energy to do that, if you hear yourself saying those things, if you're like, oh, it only gave me that one little tiny connection and it didn't even last, I'm done. If you don't see that it can have a chain reaction that follows and that the momentum going for your relationships and the cooperation that's coming to you and the problem solving that's going to happen together and the new heights of enjoyment and connection that comes next, just don't stop. Take small, actionable steps. Do not have expectations. Staying in the work is work, but we get better at it. And that's what's going to happen for you. I'm not saying this is going to work the first time and the problem's over, or as soon as we disagree or struggle again, it didn't work. I'm saying that you do the one little thing and get one little bit better and focus on little wins that aren't about their behaviors, but about the way you feel better inside and the way you were able to keep your composure. Your own ability, more about the way that you feel, less about what they're doing. You're going to base it on the changing in your responses. As you grow in consistency, you will begin to show it through your energy and through your actions. They will be able to see that you're there no matter what. They will see your guard is down. You aren't upset. You aren't the one picking fights. They will still be themselves. But when they see and feel your shift like this, and it offers to them that they could too, I have yet to see someone that doesn't take someone else up on it. They might take your lead now. They might be unsure of it and not take your lead for a couple years, but you hang in there and it will feel so good inside your body. But if you treat everyone as though they're trying and you keep nurturing that, even when they close the doors on you, and you keep your vision of this dream, one tiny thought at a time, the one person who is you that can change ripples into so many other lives. So go engage, go show up, go be interested in them, go get involved in how they experience their life, go get involved in why they're responding the way that they do. I've had kids push me away. I, at one point, did not want to be around my parents or my extended family. It was very disturbing. I felt judged. I felt like my kids were being talked down to and told all sorts of things that made them feel ashamed of themselves, like they weren't good enough to be loved or to be proud of. But I decided it could be so much better than that. And the eggshells weren't worth walking on or even having that kind of energy. I took it upon myself to research what could be done. It came down to not making it all about what they were doing and focus on my own thoughts, whether I was united or divided, and make it actionable for myself. I remember telling myself over and over this one truth: you can't help but love someone who loves you no matter what. I kept saying that to myself. You can't help but love someone who loves you no matter what you do. I said that to myself until I became that person. I can love people so big and believe in them so big that there wasn't anything they could do to change my mind about that. I will not be turning against them. It really does get easier. I started to feel and see the change in them and that it was working. I chose to stay in action when it really was the hardest part. I chose to stay in belief and stay convicted and stay in that inviting energy and work on my self-concept, grow my confidence, and my execution got more accurate. And this is where most people lose it. What happens is they hear all their tired thoughts and all the effort that they've put in, and they regress instead of progress. They're not evaluating when it does fail hard, which it will. They don't get back up and see their wins. They don't hold their dream and really anchor to it and keep it in their vision and think about it every day. You must see how you're increasing in order to get through the hardest part. Every breakthrough, you rise above the problem. Every new, more powerful thought you have, every time you do this to increase your connection with yourself, how you speak to yourself and support yourself through this becomes who you are. Then you can increase them and support them. You have to learn how to have the conversations that are hard. The more integrity you have with these conversations, the more authentic and aligned you become. You have to learn how to really listen to your intention and logic instead of your drama. When you have big wins, your brain will try to tell you, you're there, you've done it, the hard is over. But you'll already be prepared that one little time you have connection is probably going to revert to its old pattern for a while until it kind of really takes. But you decided ahead of time what you're going to do is not get thrown off. You're not just going to quit because the hard times, they never stop happening. One problem's just traded out for another throughout our whole lives. So any disagreement, anger, or argument is only something that wasn't clearly communicated and something that was misunderstood instead of reverting to all the drama, like it's not going to work and they hate me and I can't stand this. It's just that wasn't clear communication. What can I do different? What can I do better next time? This kind of erasing of the past and beginning new and fresh requires you to be all in. You have a past, you have patterns, they have a past, they have patterns. You'll need consistent eyes on what your brain is doing. And as a coach, I'm that extra set of eyes to see things you may be missing. I could not be where I am today without the coaches and mentors that I've had. This kind of growth took commitment, and I knew I could do it if I just kept going. I needed awareness of my mind, things that I tried to convince myself of that weren't true, which was literally most of my mind. 99.9% of the stuff I think is not accurate. And so that is for every human brain. So I know what this entails, and I want you to see it as accurately as possible. I know what this entails, and I want you to see it as much as you are able to, depending on where you are at with your growth in your life and the commitment and decisions that you've made to go all in on this. If you want to get past the hardest part, to make the deeper and more meaningful connections and the stronger bonds and be able to defuse conflict and use that conflict for deeper closeness and more clear communication, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. And you're going to have to challenge all the restrictions that you think you have that keep you from doing the work. You need to be able to see the current situation in a new way and respond in new ways that are not going to feel natural to you at first. And you're going to need to do it for a bigger reason than you've ever had before. Now, believing you can do it in 6 weeks is not the same as believing you can go do it today. And the reason I bring this up is because, like I said in the beginning, if you had a year to do it, you'd take the whole year and you'd finally knuckle down at the end. So what I'm saying to you is, if I gave you 6 weeks in class to get this connection, you would take the whole 6 weeks. And by the end of the 6 weeks, you'd finally really start trying. That's the kind of energy that puts it off, that doesn't make it right now today. So the part when I say it's not the same belief as in I can go have connection today, that really kind of helps you face yourself, right? It's super nuanced, but follow me here. If you can do it on another day, that's not the same as believing you can go do it right now today. It requires a whole set of actions. It requires, like, what do you do? How do you show up? What are the changes you need to make right now dramatically? I tell my students, I want you to fail every day. So please fail 42 times throughout the time we have together. That will make it once a day throughout the class. And each time you fail, you will dissect what happened. You will see what worked, what didn't work, and you'll put that information back into application immediately. And if you do this every day, you will get farther than you realize. And if you're like, well, that interaction didn't go well, then you think of a new approach to try. You've already gained a skill if you do that, just that alone, rather than seeing it as defeat and collapsing under the pressure of it, needing to fix it faster or sooner, or just hurry and put an end to this misery. Can we just get it over with? You have reinforced yourself to stay in it, and you're finding all the ways and doing all the things that you can possibly think of. And now you are good at figuring out more than you could before. Just like the baby trying to walk for the first time, no drama, just get back up and try again until you get it. You know it's inevitable. It's taking it seriously and leaving out the drama that makes it your reality. The times that I did the small thing, and it was really hard for me, I just did it because I said I would do it. I reached farther than I expected, and I had a bigger impact, more healing moments than I could have had imagined or hoped for. You want to be a different version of yourself each and every day. Understanding the concept of this, what it takes to do it, and then just repeating it gets you what is most important: peace in your relationship, open understanding, a place for you and them to be yourselves together without any expectations, to have such a sweet slice of heaven on earth. Decision is all that's keeping you from it. It's a lifelong strategy. Once you learn this, you get your brain and your emotions online, and that becomes who you are. Ask yourself, what would you do today if you had that connection already? That kind of closeness, that kind of fun, that kind of trust and excitement. Yeah? You invite them to play, how you invite them to open up, how important it is to you that they feel safe and that they can genuinely be who they are around you. That kind of energy is so contagious. And that energy, if you can grab it right now and hang on to it, it will carry you there. How would you act and what would you say and do if you already had it? That right there is the energy and the thinking that makes this inevitable for you. Take it, embody it, and make it become you. If you aren't a student of mine, then join us. When you do, after the 6 weeks, when you do join after the 6 weeks, you can stay and have maintenance sessions and join our community and talk things through with other people who have been through this as well. We'll see you in there. In the meantime, go out and have a fresh start. Have a redo in your life that you have been dreaming of. If you've thought of anyone while you've been listening to this too, please share it with them, because that's how heaven reaches us, is through each other. Be the one that heaven can trust to follow through. All right? I love you, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.